Hello again. Before I go any further, I must hope that the photograph in the background of me is not too disconcerting to viewers. It's not, contrary to the views of some people, a picture of me posing as a dictator like Roderick Spode in the Jeeves Wooster stories. It was taken at the Migdal David in Jerusalem. My wife asked me to turn round unexpectedly and took a snapshot of me and then had it enlarged as a Christmas present because it's one of my favourite views in the city. The news that two former police officers have been arrested in connection with the Rotherham grooming gang will perhaps surprise nobody. It was always something of a puzzle as to how such gangs were able to operate with impunity for so long, and this would go some way towards explaining this. If we assume that some police officers were involved in the business and benefiting from it, then that might well be the missing part of the puzzle. Of course, there have been no charges yet, let alone convictions, so it's not really possible to say too much, other than that this might shed some light on what was happening. It's especially so since the two former officers in Yorkshire have been arrested not just for misconduct in public office, but also for sexual assaults and rape. It is rumoured that other arrests are likely. Earlier this week, a brilliant piece of deflection was attempted when some unsavoury individuals in Glasgow were convicted of some awful offences against three children. These included attempted murder and various awful sexual offences. It was claimed in some quarters, principally left-wing ones and by Muslims, that this went to show that grooming gangs in Britain are not an exclusively Pakistani business, and that white people are doing the same kind of thing. This is, of course, nonsense, despite the Metro newspaper carrying a headline referring to the Glasgow grooming gang. I give a link to this in the description to this video. There have been no white grooming gangs. What there have been, as we saw in the Glasgow case, is bizarre and perverted families in which a mother and father will, in effect, prostitute their children, either for a sexual thrill or to gain money or drugs. Such cases do crop up from time to time, although they are very rare. They involve two or three children and a small number of adults who are friends of the parents. These cases are hideous, but they're not grooming gangs. The Glasgow case involved 7 adults abusing 3 children. 4 of the adults convicted were the parents of the children in question. This is very different from cases such as Rotherham, where it is estimated 1,400 girls between the ages of 11 and 16 were sexually abused by hundreds of men. This is abuse on an industrial scale, truly an enterprise of gangs. Anybody unable to distinguish between such affairs and the abuse of 2 or 3 children, primarily by their own relatives, must, I think, be a little slow on the uptake.